AITA for not telling my boss I overheard coworkers gossiping about her. I 26F work in a small office, where everyone knows each other a little too well. My boss 40SF is intense. She's a micromanager, and while she's not cruel, she can be overly critical and hard to please. A few of my coworkers, let's call them M and J, have grown increasingly frustrated with her over the past few months. They vent a lot, and while I try to stay neutral, I can't always avoid it, especially in shared spaces like the break room. A few weeks ago, I walked into the break room while M and J were mid-convo, complaining about how out of touch our boss is, how she talks down to people, and mocking her fashion choices. I quietly made my tea and left without saying anything. I didn't join in, but I also didn't tell them to stop or warn them I could hear. I didn't report it either. I figured adults gossip, and honestly, some of what they said wasn't totally off base. I didn't feel it was my place to run to her. Well, yesterday, my boss pulled me into a one-on-one and asked if I had heard anything unusual lately. Apparently, she'd heard rumors that people were talking behind her back and wanted to know if I had any idea who. I froze and just said, "Nothing I can confirm," and tried to steer the conversation away. She didn't push, but she definitely looked disappointed. Now I feel caught. M and J are being unprofessional, but I don't want to be labeled a snitch or ruin work relationships over something that, frankly, happens in every office. On the other hand, my boss trusted me enough to ask directly, and I kind of dodged her question. A friend of mine said I'm complicit by silence, and that if someone gossiped about me, I'd want to know. But I also know my boss well enough to know she'd blow it way out of proportion and possibly retaliate. So, AITA for not telling my boss I overheard coworkers gossiping about her? Or was it not my responsibility to get involved in the first place?